Coodie and Chike. Chike and Coodie. The illustrious, dynamic director duo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And let's just run down the resume real quick. We got Jeen-Yuhs, the Kanye doc. We got the Jesus Walks music video. We got the Through the Wire music video. Most Def, Christina Aguilera, Joey Badass, everybody. Can you walk me through the whole romantic story of how Creative Control and Chike and Coodie came to life?
Well, you know, I was in Chicago doing stand-up, and this guy Danny Swords asked me to host a show, Channel Zero. When I started doing that, I fell in love with like film. You know, I fell in love with the reaction we were getting, even though I was in front of the camera. I just kept wanting to keep going and wanted to keep creating shows, and then I ran into Kanye. Long story short, moved to New York. Then I met Chike.
I mean, I was at MTV at the time, and he showed me Channel Zero one day, and I was just like, this is insane. Like, it was so dope. The footage was raw. It was sneaking into concerts. It told a story. But the way it was shot, like the compositions and stuff were really dope. And so we started talking about film at that moment, and finishing each other's sentences when it came to just like our goals and thoughts about how we saw ourselves in the industry and what we wanted to do in life. And so we started working together.
You spoke a lot about like the similarities you guys saw in each other. Was there certain strengths that that just molded together so perfectly?
When we used to approach music videos, I'm more of a visual, which is interesting. I'm just thinking about this just now. Because like, for me, for music videos, I was more into just visually making something that connected with this music and took you on this journey, not so much a story. But Coodie was very, very, you know, bent on we need to make it tell a story. A lot of our music videos, they accomplish both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what elevates the video component of it, because it's not just a visually good-looking piece that represents the music. It's both. And Through the Wire is a good example of that telling the story.
What we did was we edited the visual first, so we went in with all the footage I got with this editor, and we put the whole thing together. So everything you seen in the Polaroid was like part of the cut that we did from beginning to end. And with Chike, we didn't visually know how to make this happen. So that's what we called Chike, because we knew Chike was doing motion graphic and can visually make this happen. So that was the connect right there. Because I came with the story already. Yeah. Chike put the look and the feel to it, and that was Through the Wire.
And so, speaking of finding inspiration, keeping the ball rolling, what keeps you motivated like every day?
I mean, of course, God. You know what I'm saying? God is my motivation all the way through, and Chike, of course, and God is my inspiration that moves me. You know.
And I feel like God definitely has given us, and as far as me particularly, a gift to be able to create, to be able to like execute, so to speak. So I feel like the drive comes from constantly want to take what's in our head and see it manifested into a physical thing that other people can interact with. So you're just always chasing that. Like every time it's a new project, it's a new thing in your head, and it's like the goal is to get it turn it from an adjective into a noun, basically. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that. How do you maintain a level head and deal with all the stress? Because with directing, it's like you are living in this project for so many years, especially with the Kanye documentary. So many years. How do you kind of, I guess, handle all the stress and all the pressure? Like, is it through religion, spirituality?
Yeah. I mean, when you understand the fact of like trusting God, that you don't really stress, you don't worry, you don't stress. You understand that everything is happening the way God wants it to happen. So how can you stress on it? Like things that might not, like you want something. Like I remember we was doing Most Def video, and we planned on shooting in this pool, and we wanted this nice sunny day. No, it was raining that day. We couldn't switch it. So guess what? We like, okay, well, this is what God wants us to shoot. So it's hard to stress.
It's in God's hands.
And at the end of the day, it's not that serious. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes
right.
we take things in life too serious. Like, we love it, we're passionate about it, but like, my life is not on the line. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes people just take things a little too serious when it comes to their work or their jobs or what they're doing. And I get it, because, you know, you're trying to, sometimes it does impact like the meal you're eating the next day, but that's when you gotta have faith in God. Know you're gonna get by. Like, your life is an angel. Right that second, nothing is that important. You know what I'm saying?
Very true. And for all like the younger kids watching everything, who they see Coodie and Chike, and I want to be these guys when I grow up. What kind of advice can you offer?
I mean, first for me is my advice would be things that really helped me. Like I read this book, Napoleon Hill, Keys to Success, and that book helped me tremendously to understand. Even though, and reading the book, I'm like, oh, that's why we did this, or that's why this happened, you know. So I started really understanding that part. But he said the first thing he said, you can conceive and believe you can achieve. So that alone, you know, is advice I would give anybody to understand that. I mean, to see it, that means you can manifest it. You know what I mean?
We didn't take the conventional route to be successful as filmmakers, so there is no one way for any particular person. There's several ways, but I think the one thing that people need to know is like you're gonna have to put in the work. There's no quick lick. There's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you don't go to school, you're gonna have to learn through books or through getting in the field. But you're gonna have to put in that work one way or the other. You're gonna have to learn how to execute and not be afraid to just, you know, do something. You know, get something, start from, if it's just an idea, if you just have an idea of a person in your mind, draw it on a piece of paper. They take that one step to learn how to execute, because execution is everything. Everybody can think of a good idea, but only very few people can actually execute an idea. So
when I did comedy, Bernie Mac was my mentor, first person to bring me on stage, and he said, Coodie, and I'm getting standing overs. Coodie, you know it's gonna take 10 years before you even get noticed. I'm like, 10 years? You just say I got this standing over here? He was right, but it really longer than that. So you gotta like experience, you gotta work at it, you gotta keep going no matter what. And that was the realest thing he ever said, cause like me, Deion Cole, all of us came up together. Craig Robinson ain't getting noticed for 10 years after we started. Deion just now started to get noticed 20 years.
Yeah. You gotta figure this out.
They was noticed, but now they starting to blow. And Deion and Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac didn't blow till like probably like 20-something, 25 years after he started. So.
Hey, just following the path and just keeping the head down
Keep
and
going.
Paving the streets.
And then too, believe in yourself right from the start.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
That's real though. It's so real.
Yeah. No,
you got a little voice, man.
And so, what's next for Creative Control? What's the next little thing we're working on?
Artie Barnes. It's Artie Barnes, the painter who did the Sugar Shack, the beginning of Good Times, the show, TV show back in the day.
Yeah.
And all of the character JJ paintings he painted, and Marvin Gaye's album cover, I Want You, and I mean, he did the Lakers painting that Jerry West owned and Sylvester Stallone painting, and he also was an NFL football player, but we've been documenting Mr. Barnes since 2003, and he passed in 2009, and we kept, you know, documenting with the state and how they're keeping his legacy alive, and the energy is moving. So we right now, because we just finished Jeen-Yuhs, we going strong in on that. But we got screenplays you can talk about.
Yeah, we're working on a plethora of screenplays. One of the ones he's wrote one based off called Southside, based off of the doc Benji we did. So it's a feature narrative, and we're working across genre and in scripted series and feature films. So a lot of the docs was our departure into docs was really to get into feature films, like long form, and we just didn't know how to go from music videos straight to, not that we didn't know how, but
they wouldn't let us in.
They wouldn't really let us in, you know what I'm saying? So we really had to show that we could tell stories over a long form, over a longer period of time, which docs were suitable for that. So, which in retrospect, I think it was amazing, because that journey's made us really become students of film, as opposed to just like how a lot of young kids are now, where like if you have talents instinctually, you think that that's just gonna rise you all the way to the top, and it's not. It's just a foot in the door. So that's the thing you gotta fuel. Like, don't live and die by that. Like, know that you have a gift, but then now they apply that gift to the education of the thing that you're passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's gonna make you successful.
Yeah. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Well, good for you guys. Again, on behalf of all One Diverse Industry, the whole group, thank you.
Thanks for having
us. And hope to see you guys again soon.
For sure. Come back whenever you want us to.
All right.